Physique Mastery Podcast. This is Scott Tuzana, along with Brian Cron, and today we're going to be talking about kind of nurturing a positive attitude or protecting your positive attitude. Just surrounding yourself in this protective little positivity bubble. We're going to get all freaking hippie on you today and all that stuff. No, man, we're just like, we're all about keeping things fun in the gym. You're enjoying the process. You're enjoying the journey. You're more likely to give more of yourself to it and get more out of it. And I just see, I think, there's good things that have come out of social media. I probably wouldn't be hanging out with Brian right now if it wasn't for social media and learning from some quality bros out there and picking up some great training techniques. But and that was kind of the early on experiences, like following the works of guys like John Meadows and some of these other bigger dudes who were just very giving of their knowledge, their experiences, and picking up some fun little tips and tricks. And they're all just they're doing it for you could feel their passion, you could feel their positivity, and they got a thrill out of sharing their experiences with others. I think that's the way it really should be. And lately, just finding, especially when it comes to Facebook, even YouTube and shit, it's just there's a lot of arguing, there's a lot of debating. Like it's like I can't post a YouTube video without someone saying, well, where's the evidence type thing? Or I can't post a YouTube video without someone saying, dude, you should probably eat more and gain more muscle before you ever give out more information. Like people are really quick to criticize you or quick to get into a debate. And I usually, I'd say 99% of the time, do my best to avoid confrontation on social media or whatever, because it never fails. Anytime I get into a debate on social media, it sucks my energy. At the end of it all, I think, why did I just waste my time doing that? What did I gain out of it? Did the other person, was it helpful in any way to anybody else? No, like getting into a debate, it just creates
it's never a debate.
Shit storm. And I did it on the weekend for the first time, and I can't remember how long.
Why would you do that on the weekend? Why would you do that like on a Monday?
It was a random thing. I open up Facebook. I'm like, I got nothing going on. I'll open up Facebook. I open up and I saw someone like just bashing calorie counting and everything. I'm like, fuck, how? And the reasons were not. It was all like false shit. I'm like, I should have said, whatever. That's their opinion. But I'm like, fuck, that's my. I almost got protective. It's like someone was attacking my way of being. I'm like, I gotta put my 2 cents in. Where you don't. Like those are times, like usually for the most part, 99% of the time, I'll be like, fuck it. That's their opinion. I'll move on, focus on my things. But I felt compelled. And initially, I gave a very good positive. I'm like, I see where you're coming from. I love your work, all this stuff. But I don't agree with you on this. And then the shit. And here I did. I initially thought, I'm going to give my 2 cents and do it in a productive way. And I think I was productive at first. But then it just turned out, even when you have good intentions, there's times where it just, the person may not have good intentions or whatever, but it just didn't turn out good. It ruined my freaking day. And the worst thing you can do is get on. So we've talked about this before. You get into a debate like that and then you go to the gym. Then you're like freaking frustrated and you're not focused and all that. So, my take home message is don't get involved in the debate to begin with.
Well, I don't. That's kind of like the luxury of having a lot of clients. Is just like once you've taken care of all of them, you're like the last thing you want to do is now go on Facebook and argue with some knucklehead. So, I just drop my content and then I get out. If someone asks an earnest question, and you can spot like someone who wants to argue versus someone who just wants your advice. I'll answer. But if I spot a troll, man, I don't even engage. It's just, that's why I do. And it's funny. I just think that this whole process, like building your body, getting shape, there's so much information. There's so much good information. Like it's fucking staggering how much good information there is. There's tons of bad information, but versus 10 years ago, it's light years ahead. But at the same time, I think the process that we always talk about was way easier 10 years ago. Just because there's or even more so like 15, 20 years, because there wasn't all this noise, and there wasn't all this negativity, and there wasn't all this like fucking arguing, oh, he's not natty, and all this, like all these, and all these bullshit acronyms, like people who say SLIN instead of like typing insulin. I'm like, those three fucking letters, that saves you that much time. Like, or anyway, that's a particular rant. But like, back when I was young, it's just all we knew was just, you fucking go in and you work hard, and we trained retardedly, pardon the name, but you figure stuff out, and then you reach a place of relative enlightenment and whatever. And now, like, there's all this information today, and it's really shortened that learning curve, and you can kind of get to where you want to be a lot faster. But there's all this negativity too, and I don't know. I just think it was easier.
That's the thing. Like you said, there's so much information, and it's all at our fingertips. But isn't it interesting how that's probably what's holding a lot of people back? Like you say, it was easier back then. It's because now there's so much information. You got people debating about, well, what information is right, what's wrong, and all that stuff. Well, I better not do that. It's gonna, I'll be overtraining if I do that. And then other people are like, no, jack up the volume. Like, no, it's there's just so much, and that's where all and debate is good if it's constructive. But I just find it's not constructive. Like it's just a dick measuring contest for the most part. It's ridiculous.
And it's just all these, and there's just so much pretense. Like, people who've been in the industry like 3-4 years at most, they haven't really trained anybody. Not to be petty, they don't really look like much, and they're like bashing people who have been in here for 30 years. And like, we were talking before we recorded, like someone like Mike OHearn, I mean, they're always just arguing about his drug status. And obviously he doesn't want to, for whatever his own reasons, he doesn't want to talk about it. So come to your own fucking conclusions. But there's so much other value there. Like, the guy looks amazing, and he's almost freaking 50 years old. There's so much that you can learn from that.
Right.
At least for me, because
beyond drugs.
Fuck. I mean, I just get baffled. I just sit here and go, like, that's really what you want to argue about? Is like, this guy looks like that, and he's been training ridiculously heavy, ridiculously hard for like 30 years, and he's still walking somehow, and he looks great, and you think it's just what he freaking jams into his ass that he doesn't want to talk about? Like,
right. It's amazing how people will fixate on that. Here's a guy willing to give time out of his day to try to help others, and so if I'm natural, I may not want to follow his program to a T because he can recover better than I can. Right?
And he's a genetic mutant.
And he's a genetic freak. Exactly. You should. So it should never be a debate about whether you're natty or not. But how should you be following someone's program who's a genetic freak? And you hear, it's amazing how people treat those two things differently. Like, I won't drop names, but there's a natty dude who's a freaking monster. Yeah. And people flock to his information and respect him. And they're like, what do you do? How do you train everything? I'm like, okay, you're discounting the guy who may be using drugs, but you still want to follow a program that a genetic freak is following too. Like,
that's an interesting point. I mean, it's like, as soon as they find out that, he's used drugs, I can't, none of his information is relevant to me. None, like, not his lifestyle, not how he prepares his meals, his commitment, his focus, how he doesn't get injured, recovery factors, it's all because of drugs. But, someone who has like godlike genetics, who can literally, walk by a squat rack and gain an inch on their arms, all of a sudden, like, everything they do is applicable to me because, I'm convinced he's natural, and just, it's just, I don't know how we got into this, but like, I love training around juiced as hell meatheads because I pick up on all the other stuff. Like, I just, the work ethic and the fun. Like, these are the most fucking fun people to be around. Like some, I don't know. I think about my youth. I mean, like, that's that's the most fun part of training is always the meatheads. I mean, I don't know.
Because that's their passion. Like that's
passion.
It's like a hobby to the extreme. Like they are all in their hobby, and it's
like you'll never hear a juice monkey like bashing another juice monkey about the drugs. It's like I don't know.
That's true. And I guess the take-home message from that, how we got on that time, is just how people will. There's so much positive you can gain from a conversation with a Mike OHearn, but people will flip it into a negative instead, and they'll just focus on, well, he's on drugs. They focus on the negative points when you could be like, yeah, well, maybe there's an exercise he's doing that could freaking change my routine up or something. And maybe, well, like, let's look at the split he's following. It's something a little bit different than I've never done before. There's so much you can learn.
If you spent an hour with that guy and you trained, you would learn so much that you know, if you had an open mind and you knew what to look for. Yes. And for me, it wouldn't be like what exercises he does or whatever, or whether he eats duck eggs, but it'd be just all these other things that are so much more important for like training longevity and just keeping a positive kind of passionate mindset.
And mindset's where it's at, and that's you introduced me to Dorian Yates' movie, Into the Shadows or what is Shadow. That was freaking awesome. Like his insight, he was all mindset, and it was awesome. Like his work ethic was off the frickin' charts, and I had great conversations about drug use and all that kind of stuff, and why I wouldn't recommend it for others, and how different he is now since being off it and all that stuff. But it was the mindset stuff and seeing the detailed notes. I mean, so many people brush off meatheads like these us in the gym, like he's a bro. What's he know or anything? I bet we could gather more information from his detailed notes than most lab results would ever produce, any study or anything. And seeing him going back to when he was a young teenager, the notebooks that he had, and even his little drawings in there, but the details he was writing about his experiences, like, it was a shit fuck workout, it was this was on my mind, that was on my mind, and these little things that most people go into the gym and they'll just look at the number, they plug in their numbers, move the next day, and like, my numbers are lower, I must be overtraining right now or whatever. Whereas he's looking as my numbers were lower because I slept like shit the night before. I'm in a pissy mood right now. Got in a fight with so and so, and so he can all his detailed notes. It was all that valuable biofeedback that we try to pull out of our clients. People don't realize the value in that kind of stuff, and it's there's so much you can pull from those experiences.
And it's always the people who've been training a long time who they finally get this, and it's that. They figure out that it's to last a long time. You can't get injured, obviously, but you have to keep that passion, and you have to stay fun, and as soon as you go down that road of like bashing other people and always comparing or looking for some like secret that that will discount someone else's accomplishments, to make yourself feel tall. As soon as you go down that road, like you're not gonna last. I'm sorry, like you're gonna be that guy who hangs it up, or girl who says, "Oh, this industry isn't for me," or whatever, and just find something else. But
it's you. Like this journey it's about self growth, self discovery, and you need to be positive. You need to be focusing on yourself. If you're in this, if part of your journey is to try to put someone else down or whatever, look at flaws and other stuff, you're taking away from yourself. Just try to keep everything as positive. Do the shit you enjoy. Find ways that you can bring even more joy and passion into your training. Make it exciting and fun. And a lot of that will be following people who are always positive, upbeat, and giving, and non-judgmental and all that stuff. Like keep it positive.
When I look at other colleagues of ours, like I look for people who don't say I a lot, like people who are like help it, like giving advice, try this, try that, and just that's because that's what fills me with like energy and fills me with drive to be better lifter, be better coach. And so, and anybody else who's like on that opposite, on the dark side, I mean, got a block button for that. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So seek out people who are of that giving mindset, and also adopt that yourself. Try to be helpful and encouraging to others, and rather than being critical.
Yeah, it's so much more important than the sets and reps, man. It's the secret.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this topic of kind of protecting that positive mindset, surrounding yourself with positive people and being positive yourself.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Look forward to your feedback. We'll catch you next time.
And Mike, if I'm ever in Venice at 4 a.m, I'm going to train with you, man. You might go hard. It's going to crush me.
That's awesome. Love it. All right, catch you next time, guys.